Hi everybody, it's Nancy Nally from Scrapbook Update, and today I'm working with the Belle Fleur collection by Becky Fleck from Photo Play Paper. And as you can see, this is a beautiful floral collection in nice bright spring colors with the turquoise green that is very popular these days, as well as the beautiful pink flowers and this bright reddish pink that is perfect for spring and summer. And we've got some beautiful embellishment stickers here as well that I'll be showing you in a minute. So let's take a look at how I'm constructing my layout. I am starting with this sheet right here for my background. It's one of the largest floral prints in the pack, and it's very busy, but we're going to knock that busyness back with the additional layers that we're going to put on top of it, so I'm not worried about that. Of course, I like to start with my photos, and I have this gorgeous photo, or at least I think so because I'm a proud mom, of my daughter last spring. She was modeling this fascinator that I made for one of my other websites as a project, and I thought she looked so gorgeous that I wanted to scrap the picture. And when you put the photo on this busy background paper, it does tend to kind of get a little bit lost on the busy paper, so I need to mat this so that it'll pop out a little bit. So I have cut this right here, and I could just use a square mat like this, but I want to give it a little bit of movement, so I'm actually going to tilt it like this and keep the photo level, but skew the mat a little bit. And I'm pulling it off to the side because there's some embellishments that I want to add later that I want to do room for. Now, that leaves me with that position of the photo, it leaves me with an awful lot of white space in the rest of the photo, or in the rest of the layout. So I like to color block my layouts, so I couldn't resist grabbing some more of one of the other very busy florals to put along the bottom. I love the contrast with the green background and the white background with the two florals. However, it's hard to separate the transition between the two of them because they are very similar prints. For that, I need a border separating them, and I decided to go somewhat bold with that. So I decided to pop that with a strip of black. And this black polka dot now creates a nice definition between these two busy prints and separates them. So this is the basic bones of my layout, but I'm still missing a few things. I need my title. I need someplace I can put my journaling. And then I always like to put my embellishments on at the end. So I want to put my title across here, and then I want to put journaling here, and that is a project for my Cricut machine. All right, now I'm in Design Space here, and I've got my cut set up for my title, beautiful, and a tag that's going to hold my journaling on the layout, and it's all ready to go. So I'm just going to hit my Make It button, and it wants to start with my tag, and I want to start with my title, so I'm going to hit over there to select my title, and then go down and hit continue. Got to select my machine, tell it I'm using the maker, select my material, and then it is all ready to go. other than I have to load my paper in the machine, and my blade is already set up. So I gotta push that in there and load that right up and hit go. The paper that I am using is one of the patterned papers from the Belle Fleur collection. I could have used a solid, but using this tone-on-tone patterned paper will give it a little bit more texture. Now that the cut is done, just unload my mat. And if you look at the right light there, you can see the cut. And I should be able, with one hand, to start peeling this up. The back side of this paper is really pretty too. This beautiful green floral. And there is my cut. I will still have to go back with my weeding tools and separate out the insides of some of those letters, but my cut is pretty much done. And now I will do the same thing to cut out my tag. Now that I have got my die cuts created with my Cricut, my title and my tag, I added a rectangle of white paper to the tag for my journaling so it would pop out. The general concept here is complete, but it needs a few more touches. I went into this pack of chipboard shapes, and I like to cut out sometimes my embellishments that are adhesive so that I can see how they're going to look ahead of time without having to stick them down. So I can sample this one here and see how that's going to look. And I've been eyeing this sheet of stickers right here that came in the collection pack. And I think this little heart right here will go perfectly right here. And I think I will use some foam dot adhesive to pop it up a little bit and give it some dimension. So I want to make sure that I leave room for that when this is all adhered down. But there's lots of different options here, but I think those are the ones I'm going to go with. But before I do all that and start adhering all this down, there is one other thing that I want to do, and that is that, see, a lot of these edges here will look a lot more finished, especially on this pink paper and on here, if I ink them before I glue them down. But before I can do that, I need to figure out exactly which shade of pink will work best for that, because pink is a very hard color to match because it can have a red undertone or it can have a more orangey undertone. So how I like to do that is I like to grab a scrap. This was left over from cutting out my title. And then I start grabbing my ink pads that I think are close in color to the shade that I'm trying to match. And I start testing. This one, you can tell, looks like it's probably too pink. But if I pick it up and start inking, yeah, that's way too bright. So now I can try the Worn Lipstick from Distress and just work my way along the edge here. That one's not too bad. That might work. So I can try the Fresh Peach here. That one is pretty good. That one's not too bad either. And then I think this red is going to be way too dark. Yeah, that's way too dark. Let's try this color box one. This is one of the reasons that people might want to own a ton of ink. That one doesn't show up. It's not dark enough and it's not red enough, I don't think. This last Hero Arts one is pretty good too. So I'm looking at all of those and I think I am going to go with, let me double check this here. I think this Fresh Peach one, I think is the one to go with, even though supposedly it's not pink because it's called Peach, but I think it is the one that matches best. So now I need to go ink some of these pieces and you'll be able to see the difference that it makes on how they stand out from the background and have some depth. This is a super fast technique that you can use to make those layouts look so much more finished. And the nice thing about this is that with this direct to paper inking is you don't have to be exact. I usually end up with a smear or two that's on the surface here, and it just gives it a kind of, I meant to do that look. And there we go. It just looks so much more finished now because that edge doesn't have a white pop to it. And now we can do the same thing on this and on this here. And how much ink is visible on the front of the color will depend on how vertical you hold it here versus here. You'll get a darker line on the front. So here on this stripy thing where I want less ink on the front, I'm holding it more vertical instead of angled towards the front. So there is that. And that gives that nice striped paper more definition so that it separates better from the background. And we can do the same thing here with this one. Gotta be careful not to lose that little tiny dot from my eye and my beautiful. And ink up this top edge here. There we go. And now it gets more complicated doing all these crazy edges on this die cut. Some of it obviously can be done direct here. but some of it is going to require the help of a sponge or another tool. So sometimes I use a cosmetic applicator. It's perfect for this. Larger sponges can work for this, but when you've got a lot of corners that are tight, you need something super tiny that can get in there. So obviously this is going to take a few minutes, so I will be back to show you the finished product when I'm done inking. With the inking done on all of my pieces, you can see how much better this title pops off of this busy background. Now you might have been wondering why I decided to go with the cosmetic applicator for my inking instead of a pen, especially because the Distress ink, which sort of matched, has a pen to go with it. Well, look at this. This is my cosmetic applicator that I used. See how destroyed it is? I value my pens and I don't want to do this to them, even though the pen is a little more durable than the cosmetic applicator. I have destroyed pens doing edge inking with them. So now, unless it's absolutely unavoidable because of color matching, I stick to the cosmetic applicators. So now I am ready to start sticking everything down. The most challenging item that I have to stick down here is, of course, this die cut with all of these small edges, and I could go in there and put little teeny pieces of adhesive or something, but I am going to use my new favorite toy, and I'm going to use Mod Podge Ultra, which is the latest version of Mod Podge from Plaid, and it is a spray version, so I will be able to just spray right over the back of this and stick it down. And I will show you right now how that's going to work. I'm going to take these two pieces, here, and I'm going to spray the back of my die cut. Oops. Make sure I don't lose that teeny tiny piece right there. Now, you're supposed to shake this up for like 15 seconds, but it's already been shaken just a minute ago, but I'm going to shake it up just a little bit more. And then you're supposed to do a test squirt to make sure that you get any of the globs out, and I think it's going good now. So what I'm going to do is, let's get that out of the way a little bit more. I'm going to just this is the matte version, so that if I get a little bit of overspray on this, it should not be an issue, because, let's get this out of the way, because it will dry matte. And there we go. That is stuck down, and no need for special machines or anything because I am lazy. And now I've got that little dot that I need to do. So I'm going to just drag it through some of my extra overspray there from that and pop it right down. And then I will clean that mat in a few minutes when I am done. And that's how easy that is with my Mod Podge Ultra. So now I can finish sticking down all the rest of these items. And I'll be back in a moment to show you the finished product and stick down the embellishments. I've got everything glued down now, and you can see I added some ribbon to my tag when I did that. So now it's time to add those last couple of embellishment touches. And first, I've got my chipboard embellishment from the Photoplay paper chipboard set. It's double-sided here from the micro chipboard shapes from Photoplay for the Belle Fleur collection by Becky Fleck. So I'm going to peel that off of its backing that I had cut out, and I'm going to stick that right down here in a space between the tag and the photo. And now I've got to do that sticker that I want to put over here. And that comes from this beautiful sticker sheet that comes with the collection. And there's so many good choices. I could have put flowers and things, but being that it's already on the flowered background, some of these would have kind of gotten a little bit lost. I'm hoping that this heart will pop a little bit once I pop it up with some foam dots. So to do that, obviously, since this is sticky, I want to get rid of the adhesive that's on the back of it. So I'm going to set that aside and get out a paper plate to work on. And I've got my sticker here and my baby powder, which is my magic de-stick material. And I'm just going to, this little travel size container of baby powder just lives in my desk in my studio all the time for using just for these sorts of things. And now it is perfectly not sticky thanks to the baby powder. You'd never even know there was adhesive on it, ever. And close the baby powder. Try to clean the hands off a little bit there to work with. And now you can see, once I foam dot that up a little bit, that's going to be fine. I have to do that with, I have from Scrapbook Adhesives, Crafty Foam Tape. I just snip some of this off and stick it on the back there. So find out how much I need. There's one piece. Do another shorter piece over here. Oops. Like that. And that should be plenty. Peel the backer off of it and figure out where I want it. By putting it partially on the photo, that'll help it pop as well. There we go. Now, all that is left for me to do on this layout is do my journaling, and it will be complete. I will put a photo at the end of the video of the finished layout with the journaling. I hope that you've enjoyed creating along with me today. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.